Hey everybody, I'm Curtis.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is Love at First Fright. So I was out running a bunch of errands today. Well, I wasn't out all day running errands, but the portion of the day where I was out running the errands, on the way back home, I passed a funeral home. And I guess somebody had just beefed it or whatever.
Curtis, please.
Fresh beef is what I'm saying. Freshly beefed it on this one.
Jesus Christ.
I'm hoping he was there. Anyway. But I knew this because I turned off the exit from the loop and almost immediately had to stop because the procession was going, but it wasn't going past where I had to pull off. They were getting onto the entrance to get onto the interstate thing, and that was significantly further down.
Yeah.
But everyone was stopped, and I know that there's laws.
It's called etiquette, first of all.
But I think there's actual laws.
Not everybody on the street goes, some fucking jerk off just beefed it.
I didn't say that. I just said somebody beefed it. I don't know this guy. Maybe perfectly upstanding John. Everyone beefs it, okay? You don't have to be a douche to beef it, You're going to beef it, I'm going to beef it.
Respectful.
I pulled over. I didn't.
And you're complaining about it right now.
No, I wasn't complaining about it.
Finish your thought.
I was saying what I thought was interesting about it is all the cars turn on their hazards, right, to indicate that they're in the. And I think typically there's a leader car, and then there's usually a tail car to kind of end the procession and everything. What I was going to say before I was so rudely, assumed my opinion on this is when I beef it, I want that tail car to be way down there after the last car of somebody driving. Because I want room for, random people that don't know me to be sick, somebody beefed it. And they pull in. and then we get, it's kind of like a crowd surfing thing.
In what way?
Well, people just join in, And
and that's crowd surfing.
Well, yeah, because it's not just one guy. You don't jump and do a crowd surf thing and then one guy catches you and carries you all the way to the stage.
So in this scenario, when you beef it, is your coffin just on top of the cars?
It could be. I'm not tied down to any one idea.
You certainly wouldn't be.
Maybe one of those wacky inflatable guys just kind of flopping.
Okay. Well,
I'm just saying, let's make it everyone get involved.
Yeah. When you die,
I want it to be open to the public.
I'll send out an open invite. I'll put it on Facebook.
Yeah. Get in there,
I'll put it in the paper. Yeah.
And then, I'm also, if you got to be somewhere and because you got to stop for the thing, you can hop in and everyone's gonna be like, oh wow, this guy's really, he's joining in on the fun of the day. And then you get off on the, the exit before where we're trying to go.
Right.
And then everyone's going to be like, oh, this guy left. But then they're going to remember my wishes where maybe that guy is late for an appointment. Yeah. And it's cool.
And he wanted to drive 35 miles per hour in the procession.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to be respectful. But that's all he had time for. It's not an all day thing. Right. He just popped in to say, hey, I brought bean dip. I can't drop it off
because I'm in the car. He's going to an appointment. Why does he have bean dip?
Well, he'll circle back later, probably. I don't know. I'm dead. It's not going to matter to me.
What are you talking about?
I feel
like I took crazy pills.
I'm saying let's make it fun, Let's make a day of it.
Yeah.
More than it's already going to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe nothing will happen. One day somebody else is going to be driving past the funeral home and I'm going to be in there and they're going to be like, wow, that's fuck beefed it. some douche in there just beefed it. And my ghost is going to come back and haunt them and be like, you don't have to be a douche to beef it. You're going to beef it too.
Why are you Italian? And your ghost ghost form.
Hey! When the clock strikes, beef it. Ask not for whom the beef tolls. It beefs for thee.
Oh my god.
I'm losing it.
You brought so much energy to the intro, and I told you my tummy hurts.
That's not my problem.
Okay.
Oh, no, my tummy hurts.
Stop stealing my thunder.
Sorry. No, you talk about your tummy.
It's just hurting, like usual. That's all I had to say about it.
Thanks for the report.
You said to talk about it.
You said you might want to talk about it, and I said, okay, we'll leave some space. And then you said, it hurts like normal. That's it. Like, not even really an update.
I said I wanted to talk about it in a joking way.
Yeah.
And it's not my fault that you are terrible at picking up tone. This is on you.
Yeah. I just figured people wanted to know about what I wanted when I died.
Yeah, and also that my tummy hurts.
That too.
Well, your wishes have been noted.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to pass them on to someone else because you can't die before me.
Okay.
So, I'll make sure your wishes are known.
To who?
I don't know, like your brother or...
Well, he'll hear it.
Yeah.
He'll know.
Yeah. I will pass it along in an envelope.
Dear listeners, if you could spread the word.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else that you share from our show, can it just be my funeral procession is going to be
open to everyone.
Open source.
Yeah.
You know, mix that code up.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Right.
You know. And I don't want any cops like keeping people in line around it, you know, because sometimes they have the police.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
No cops allowed.
Nah. I want cool people.
Cool guys only.
Yeah, cool guys only.
We can have cops, but actually they're strippers.
Yeah,
Dressed
hot
like
cops.
cops.
Hot cops.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, that's a party.
ACAB accepts strippers.
Yeah. Not the stripper ones. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is all just like delusions I'm having because it's so
hot out.
Miserably hot out. I don't want to just talk about the weather all the time, but like
it's the only thing on my mind for approximately 5 months of the year.
I can't even think straight, man.
No.
As evidenced by this.
Yeah. It's miserable. I don't want to leave my house.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to curl into a ball. I feel like when a dog knows they're gonna die and they leave the home and they find a bush to die under, that's how I feel for the summer months in Georgia.
That's fair. It's pretty rough.
Just a dog looking for a bush to die under.
It's pretty rough down here.
Yeah.
It's a little dog humor for you.
Yep. You wouldn't get it. It's edgy.
It's not. Anyway. I don't even have a segue.
No.
For this. I have no way to get from where we are.
I've got one.
Okay, go for it.
Speaking of animals dying.
Oh, there it is.
Zip.
Got him. Got him. We got a sad one for you today.
You'll get that later. And then you'll think back to this portion of the episode and go,
oh, that was the joke they made.
Yep. We're talking about Friday the 13th, people.
Yep.
The movie.
Just in case you thought we were talking about the novelization.
Or the video game, or
the action figure.
Yeah. Or the superstitious date concept. Yeah.
Which, was that before or after the movie? Probably before.
It existed before.
Okay, I don't know anything.
No, we're talking about Friday the 13th, a 1980 American slasher film.
Yeah.
Produced and directed by Sean S. Cunningham, big name of the game.
Yeah.
And written by a guy named Victor Miller.
Yeah.
Who I think wrote this based on, like, childhood nightmares he had, and also, like, a mom that he wished he had, which is sort of fucked up.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
I was reading this thing when he was like, I just think that, like a good mom should kill for her kids. And I'm like,
I mean,
okay, Victor.
Yeah, but it's like, I think
therapy.
it's about, like, context, though, right? Like,
right.
It's like, sure, but maybe not how you're presenting it in this.
Right, because you're talking crazy. Let's go over the cast.
Yeah, then we can get into this.
Cast this time, we have Adrienne King as Alice, Harry Crosby as Bill, Janine Taylor as Marcy, Laurie Bartram as Brenda, Kevin Bacon,
Yeah.
you know that name, Kevin Bacon as Jack, Mark Nelson as Ned, Robbie Morgan as Annie, Peter Brower as Steve Christie, and featuring the illustrious Betsy Palmer as Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah. This is one of the greats.
It's a classic.
Like, it's weird because it's kind of derivative, but then it, like, becomes its own thing.
Right. It is derivative in that it was kind of trying to ride on the coattails of, like, Halloween.
Yeah.
And Black Christmas and stuff like that. But also, there are things that are done in this movie that go on to become tropes that, like, they added to the genre.
Mm-hmm.
So, it still was influential in its own way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was massively successful. I was reading after we watched the movie about some of, like, the box office stuff, because it's always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And in the year that the movie was released, I think it was released by Paramount Pictures, and only one other movie, and I believe it was Airplane, did better from Paramount in that year.
Nice.
And it was like 17 movies that Paramount had put out that year.
Hell yeah.
And I think in 1980 it was the 18th most successful film of the year. So I mean, it was in the top 20.
15th.
Oh, 15th. There you go.
Yep.
So it was in the top 20 of movies, just, you know, in 1980. So this was like a phenomenon when this movie came out. And then, I mean, as most people who probably listen to this know or might be familiar with, even if you haven't seen them, it spawned, like, a whole franchise.
Yeah,
and
there's, like 10 sequels or something
something like that. And it's got, like, you know, crossovers with other things.
Mm-hmm.
I just learned that because there was actually a big, like, lawsuit thing going on up until fairly recently. That got cleared up.
Oh, nice.
And there is a new video game being made for it, and a new movie.
Oh, cool.
That is in the works.
All right,
and this is,
so
like,
we're gonna get new
breaking news.
Friday
kind
the
of thing.
13th content.
Yeah, but all that to say is that Jason Voorhees, the hockey mask, all of that stuff is so iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in the world of horror. I mean, certainly in horror, but, like, just in pop culture in
Everybody
general.
Knows it.
The hockey mask is so iconic that it shows up in non-horror things, and people know that is a reference to
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because the hockey mask isn't relevant until, like, the third movie.
He doesn't actually wear the mask until the third movie.
Yeah.
Jason isn't in this at all.
Well,
he's not. But then he's not even the killer until the second one, and the second one he doesn't even have the hockey mask. He has, like, a sack over his head with a hole cut out.
Yeah.
So it is pretty wild that this first movie spawned this, and Jason is in it for approximately 0.5 seconds at the end, as a throwaway.
Yeah, literally at the very end of the movie. And they don't even stick with, like, the look.
No.
Or really even the lore that they set up in the first movie. Because, like as much as I personally love the entire franchise that is Friday the 13th,
mm-hmm.
It is like many things in horror.
Yeah.
Don't think about it too long. Don't peel behind that curtain.
You don't need to.
You know, because it's gonna pretty quickly fall apart, and this is no exception to that. I think we'll get into some of it. We're not gonna do the entire franchise in this episode,
right?
Although I'd love to get to.
We'll get to them.
Part 6.
Part 6 is our favorite.
I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. But it's worth a watch.
It is so
big
worth
time
a
worth
watch.
a watch.
You do have to suffer through Friday the 13th Part 5, and that one is pretty abysmal. But your reward
is 6.
Is Part 6, and that one rips.
That one is a cinematic masterpiece. Where's that Oscar?
Yeah, right.
You know, if they weren't fucking cowards.
Yeah, they're cowards.
They would have given it an Oscar.
Yeah.
In every category.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is where it all started. The simple summer camp.
I think this is cool because, like, it is very, you know, I think some people think about horror stuff and they really think about it during, like, the spooky season, which is basically right after the 4th of July for a lot of people.
Me.
Yeah. And that's fair. Totally get that. But this movie, when it was released in May. Like, it was pretty solidly a summer movie.
It was supposed to be a summer blockbuster, and I mean, it takes place in a summer camp.
Yeah. And, like, the whole thing is a summer camp. It's a very, like, when you watch it, very summery feeling movie. Like, people are walking around shirtless and stuff.
Yeah, they're swimming in the lake.
Yeah, they're doing summer camp activities. They get the
summer storm.
Yeah.
And, you know, all
so
that
it's a very summery thing, but I just think it's interesting. Because, like, Halloween is, obviously, it takes place on Halloween. So it is very much tied to the holiday, but also the fall.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of horror movies just get roped into this idea of like, well, it's spooky season time, and I'm like, but a lot of them are like this in particular.
Right.
You can watch this in summer and you're fine.
There's horror year round.
Yeah.
You know,
horror is all the time.
It's every time.
It's existential.
Yeah, it's here.
It's queer.
Get used to it.
Get used to it.
Well, if you're not familiar, I don't know how you couldn't be, but if you're not familiar, the basic idea of this movie is that a tragedy happens at a summer camp in the 50s. Kid dies. The following year it reopens, and 2 teen camp counselors get killed, so then they shut it down for good. And this is fast forwarding to 1980, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that when it takes place?
I think.
But they're finally reopening it again. They're going to give it the old college try. And this is taking place in the 2 weeks before the kids get there, when it's just the owner and the camp counselors who are trying to kind of zhuzh it up and get it ready for people again. But the whole movie just takes place in one day, Friday the 13th, of course.
Yeah. It is really good in a lot of the design choices that they do for the movie. Like if you choose to watch this and you really lock in and pay attention to this, there were some very thoughtful choices that they made in terms of the score to the movie. Harry Manfredini did the music for this movie, and it is very good. I mean, almost iconic as the hockey mask is the which everyone says chi chi chi.
But it's ki.
It's ki. Which he explains it. Listen, if you ever are around me and you go chi chi chi, I'm not gonna call you on it because that's what it is. Like when you hear it in the movie.
You will.
No. Like when you hear it, or that's what it sounds like. And I know that what he's saying is that it's ki ma ma ma, and it's supposed to be from the words kill and mom or mama.
Yeah, kill them mom.
Yeah, kill them mom is the thing. And so I get it, but also we hear it very specifically, and it does not sound like what he says it's supposed to be, at least not to me anyway.
Right.
But there are, what I was saying was there's some really cool things, some really thoughtful things they do with the music. Probably one of the best things about the movie is the score, where they very intentionally leave a lot of scenes where there is no music playing at all. And then there are scenes where there is music playing, and you'll notice that the only time the music is really playing is when the killer is supposed to be around. Regardless of if you see them or not, a lot of it, you're actually kind of point of view, you are the killer for a lot of these. But even if that's not the case, like, that music will only play when the killer is lurking nearby and everything. And it's supposed to kind of, like, clue the audience into, like, what is happening. But then they do this, like, really interesting stuff where they'll cut the music just before a scare is supposed to happen, so that the audience will then relax a little bit, because, like, the music stops and then the scare happens. Right. All of it is, like, really well thought out, and it's kind of crazy, because if you actually kind of lock in and pay attention to the movie, like, when you go to watch it, it still works. There's a lot of stuff like that. Really, really cool. And,
of course, we would be remiss if we didn't shout out the practical effect work by the legend himself, Tom Savini.
Yep.
There's some pretty, I mean, not all of it is, like, necessarily holds up to scrutiny today.
Sure.
But when you consider that it's all practical, it's pretty outstanding.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They pull off some really cool things, like throat slits and the stabbing of an arrow, like, through a bed into Kevin Bacon's neck.
That one is so gnarly. Yes. I love that kill. Like, no matter what I'm doing, I will, if that movie's on, I will pop back in to make sure I get that scene, because it's cool. And, like, those are the ones where they show it happening. Like, there's a few others where they clearly put the actor into makeup, and then, like, it's kind of just a static shot of, like, oh, the axe is already in her head or whatever. But even those, like, it looks good. It looks good. And they did a lot of really cool, innovative stuff. I mean, Tom Savini is a legend for a reason. Yeah. I think the one with Kevin Bacon, I think, was, like, a pretty notorious, like, they had trouble getting that effect to work. And so, if I remember, like, the story correctly, you can find this on, like, I think it's The Movies That Made Us or something like that. And there's one about Friday the 13th where they talk about it. And he talks about, like, being under the bed to get the blood effect to go, and he's literally got, like, the tube and he's, like, blowing into it, but to, like, get the blood to splurt. But it's like going back into his mouth, and it's like, this is the 1980s, and this is truly, like, the Wild West of, like, movie making, where, like, a lot of these films were told by the production studios, we're shutting down the production of this, you've spent too much. And then everyone was like, okay, they hung up the phone, and then we're like, so we're gonna cram 36 hours because that's how long till they touch down in a plane to, like, finish this thing. And they would do that. And so, like, you know, Tom Savini's, like, under the bed blowing into this tube and getting this, like, probably toxic concoction of whatever to make the blood just, like, spilling into his own mouth. But the end result is, like, a really cool effect where, this, like, arrow comes up through his neck. And this movie kind of notoriously had some stuff like that. Like, Bill, one of the characters, Bill, we don't see his death on screen, but we see him affixed to the back of a door with a bunch of arrows through him. They're, like, pinning him to the door, and one of them is through his eye. And that was all makeup that they did on the actor, and they, like, hoisted him up and everything. And he said that, like, the stuff that they used on his eye, it just had, like, random fucking chemicals that made him, like, temporarily blind and in his eye and stuff. Like, thank goodness he recovered. But it's stuff like that where it's like, this is relatively low budget, and also Tom Savini is a pioneer. He's inventing things as he goes along. He's not copying what someone else did, and inevitably when you're blazing trails, you're gonna do some fucked up stuff. Maybe not, like, on somebody's eye, but, you know, whatever. So there were a lot of things like that. It's a very, very, very cool movie if you like, particularly, like, 1980s practical effects, which is a thing I really like about it's one of my favorite things about 1980s horror movies is there's a very specific look to those practical effects that, like, they don't necessarily hold up. They look like they're from the 1980s, but they are really cool. Really cool. Yeah. And there's something about them that, to me, is almost always better than, like, modern day CGI stuff. There's, like, very few exceptions, I think, where, like, CGI is actually, like, done really, really well. One of them, I think, is one of the newer Scream movies. They do something with a knife where it, like, the knife is entirely CGI, but it's, like, you don't notice at all in the movie, which is really cool. Anyway, that is not to say that the movie doesn't have, you know, the occasional problematic... We're gonna talk about it? there's like two things that I think we have to talk about. And I think if people are really familiar with the film, the first one is really obvious. So as much as I love Friday the 13th, the first movie is fucked up in that there's a scene which does not add to the plot at all. They did not need to film it. It has nothing to do, like, it doesn't like further character development, because you get to know these characters in other ways throughout the course of the movie. So it truly serves no purpose except for them to just have a snake in a cabin. Like, that's truly the only point of the scene. And they end up, the climax of the scene is they kill the snake.
Right.
Unfortunately, it is a well-known fact that there was an actual snake and they did actually kill it on set. Yep. And they show it on screen. So, like, if animal cruelty is at all, like, a triggering thing for you, either skip this scene or don't watch this movie.
Right.
Because it's kind of unavoidable. It's just in there.
Yeah.
You can kind of get past it because, like, there's a good bit of build-up before they actually kill the snake. They kind of alert you that there's a snake coming around. And it's not great.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's actually, like, kind of worse than that, because there's also, like, I mean, there's been a lot of different interviews and stories, like, told about how this all went, but the common understanding is that they had a guy who was, like, an animal handler bring a snake for the scene.
Yeah.
And he was not aware, nor did he provide consent for them to kill the snake, and based on what people have said, he was actually, like, completely devastated and, like, hysterical, like, when that happened, which is just fucking horrifying, because that was his snake. Yeah. So absolutely fucked up and bad.
It's trash and bad, and I'd fully
didn't need to happen in order for it to be a good movie.
It is truly, like, one of the grossest things in horror movies that, like, I know. I mean, there are like far worse and grosser movies, like the concept and just the filming of them or whatever, but this scene in itself, just because it doesn't serve anything and didn't need to be in the movie at all,
right,
which is, like, it's kind of a double-edged thing, right, where it's like it didn't need to be in the movie at all. So, like, if they had filmed it and then they were, like, editing this together and realized that they didn't need to be in the movie, now they've killed a snake
for no reason,
for literally no reason.
Yeah.
But the flip side of this is, well, we gotta leave it in because otherwise then we killed the snake for no reason. But then people are watching it and it's a cheap scare.
Yeah.
It serves nothing. And so people watching the movie, like you and me, and hopefully anybody who's listening to this, are gonna see it and be like, what the fuck was that about?
Yeah.
And so now you're just gonna be called out on the fact that you killed a snake for no reason. It's just bad. The whole thing's bad.
Yeah, it's no win. In general, I think good rule of thumb, if you're making a movie, don't kill a snake.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Don't do
or
that.
Any animal, really. Yeah. They don't need to be killed in that.
It's not necessary.
There's a whole tragic history of
poor animals in film. Yeah, and humans in film.
True.
I mean, #actors' rights.
Yeah.
Because they've been putting people through stuff for a long time.
Oh, yeah. The other thing that I want to touch on briefly is it's the 1980s, so, like, you know, culturally it was,
I don't even know what you're gonna say.
Oh, it's Ned. It's when the cop shows up.
Oh, and he's wearing the headdress.
He's wearing a Native American headdress, and he's done up his, like, shirt over his, like, underwear or whatever
to
kind
look like a little loincloth or whatever.
Yeah, and he's literally, like, screeching and jumping around and stuff, and he's supposed to be the jokester character, and like, I get it, you get it from that. He's one of the worst archetypes of the jokester character, like, in horror movies that, like, I've ever seen. Like, he just says stuff that is truly nonsensical and, like, doesn't mean anything, but
funnily enough, he is one example of how Friday the 13th created an archetype, because Ned's the blueprint of the jokester, practical Joker character that dies early.
It is truly wild, because I hate how he represents that archetype, but also
do it first, do it
worst.
Exactly.
It is exactly that. It's exactly that. It's the do it first, do it worst thing, because he sucks. It's not good. There's a point where they're, like, all in, like, the kitchen in one of the like the main cabin things or whatever, and they're trying to, like, put some food together, and one of them's messing with a light bulb, and they're like, oh, either it's a bad light bulb or the power's out. And I think Kevin Bacon's character says, like, Steve or whatever showed me how to use the emergency generator, and then Ned's just sitting there and he was like, all this macho talk, emergency generator, and I'm like, it's a statement, dude. Anybody can use an emergency generator. It's not like he was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to be a man and go turn on the emergency generator. It's gonna be, you know, dark and scary out there. Like, it was literally none of that.
Yeah.
He's just bad.
He's just saying things.
He's just be saying shit.
He do just be saying things.
He does, and also, his death isn't even satisfying. Because a lot of times, you know, the Joker character in these movies, they get killed in kind of either a comedic way or usually kind of an iconic way within the movie. He literally dies off screen.
Off screen, yeah. And we get like kind of a scare of Kevin Bacon and the actress that plays Marcy are getting it on in the bottom bunk of a bunk bed, and then it like kind of zooms out and you see Ned's dead body. Dead Ned's body.
Ned's dead, baby. Ned's dead.
On the top bunk, and they clearly don't know that he's
or they do know.
So that would be weird.
That's why they get killed, because they're weird perverts.
They're weird little perverts. But yeah, so it's just for the audience of like the zoom out, and it's like, oh shit, Ned beefed it.
Oh, Ned beefed it. No, Ned was my favorite.
He was so funny.
He was so fucking funny, dude. Did you hear him earlier when he's talking about macho shit?
That was hilarious.
And he's like weirdly staring at fucking Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
See us, they're like skipping on a log. He's like in the distance, like.
It's strongly implied that he's got a crush on Marcy.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So he's just like he's a little jealous.
Maybe suck less.
Damn.
And be Kevin Bacon. I don't know. That's kind of hard to compete with.
Kevin Bacon is the
Kevin Bacon in the 1980s.
Young
I mean,
Kevin
I'm just saying.
You know.
I'm just saying.
Foot loose, something else getting loose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
The other foot. Feet loose.
Feet loose.
This summer. You don't have to have seen the other ones. Anyway.
Oh my god.
It's like just nothing.
There's nothing.
No. This movie does set up a lot of like the archetypal characters and everything. A lot of the characters are kind of like, they have, some of them are very shallow and they like exist just basically for fodder. That's every horror movie. But then there are like other weird dynamics that like I don't know that they ever like fully play out. Like Steve and is it Alice?
Yeah.
Have like a weird.
Yeah, at the very beginning, Steve is the camp owner, and Alice is our final girl. And there's this. She's obviously been there before, like the rest of the camp counselors come, and they sort of have this conversation where it's heavily implied that they've been in some kind of summer romance that maybe is not working out.
Yeah.
And again, they just kind of never explore
it never really comes
because
up.
Steve dies before she ever sees him again.
Yeah.
So I will say, as much as this is a good movie and it's a classic, and I would encourage you to watch it if you're a horror fan.
Oh, absolutely.
It is a 90-minute movie that feels like a 2-hour movie.
It really does.
And it's because of stuff like that, where it's just like, yes, I definitely can appreciate and understand wanting to add some characterization so that they aren't just random fodder.
Yes,
that you
absolutely.
don't care about.
Absolutely.
But it's also like when you have a limited time to work with, you have to make edits and decide what's going to be important. Like the stuff with Ned and Marcy and Kevin Bacon, whose character name I don't remember.
He's just Kevin Bacon.
Like that was stuff that they used it throughout.
Yes.
They didn't just reference it once and then drop it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean from the outset, because what Marcy, Kevin Bacon, and Ned show up together, and from the outset you can kind of see the dynamic of their relationship.
Yes.
Like I think Kevin Bacon and Marcy are kind of like all over each other.
Smooching.
And then Ned very clearly is like like trying to break up the because he's driving and clearly the third wheel here.
Right. And he's like, oh, I doubt there's going to be any girls as pretty as you there, Marcy. So it's like we get that set up early on, and while it's not necessarily super important to the plot, it tells us about their characters and it's used again. But yeah, a lot of the stuff is just kind of random throwaway. Same with so there's a character, Annie, she's actually kind of who we start out with. She is hitchhiking to the camp. She's going to be a camp counselor. And she's sort of how we get some perspective of like some of the locals, or they refer to the camp as Camp Blood. And they're like, oh, don't you remember what happened back in the day?
Yeah.
And she, you know, hitches a ride from one of the locals at the diner who gives her more details. But we get, like, so much characterization about Annie, where she goes on this long thing about, like, I've always dreamed about working with children, and this is going to be my way to get my foot in the door. And, you know, when you have a dream, you'll just do anything for your dream. And it's like, okay, we literally, you don't even get to the camp and you die. Yeah.
She doesn't even get to know what Camp Crystal Lake looks like.
No, she don't see it at all.
Which, like, and yes, you're absolutely right. Like, I do think they spend, like, weird amounts of times trying to characterize and personalize people that, like, ultimately it doesn't matter.
Right.
And we probably could have trimmed a little bit of this fat because, like, exactly like what you said, this movie is an hour and a half long and it feels like 2 hours because the middle of this movie really sags.
Yep. There's not a lot of action. No. It's a lot of just, like, the teens hanging out.
Yeah.
And also, I think, like, somewhat important in that it's, like, setting up areas of the camp that we're going to revisit later, but it's nothing, like, super exciting.
No. But to kind of touch back on the opening of this movie, when Annie is hitchhiking, she, like, pops into this diner or whatever it is. I don't even know.
It looks like a general store, but they also are like, they have coffee and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a super small town, so it's just, you know, whatever.
And she's like, can anyone give me a ride? Or like, does anyone know where Camp Crystal Lake is? And then the hush comes over the diner, and, you know, one of the waitress woman behind the counter is like, oh, Enos was driving up there anyway. He was like in the middle of a cup of coffee and like a stack of pancakes. So I don't think Enos was in a rush to go anywhere, but yeah, sure, go ahead and sign him up for this.
Yeah.
But very gentlemanly of him. He goes to take her, but on his way, or on their way to his vehicle to get on the road, they encounter a character named Ralph.
Crazy Ralph.
And this is one of the funniest funniest interactions, and it takes a while for it to like really become funny. Ralph shows up and he was like, going up to Camp Crystal Lake, are you? You'll never come back.
You're gonna die. It's got a death curse.
And fucking Enos is like, by the way, this is a tangent on a tangent. I love that I remember this dude's name, but I cannot for the life of me remember what Kevin Bacon's character's name is in this movie. But I remember this guy who is not in the movie past this scene. I know his name is Enos.
To be fair, Enos is a really funny name.
It's a really good name. Where are all my Enos heads at?
Hey, if you're in Enos, shout out.
Get in the comments.
This one's for you. Get in the comments. Leave us a 5-star review. We love you, Enos.
Anyway, Enos is like, shut up, Ralph, you're gonna scare her. And he like gets her into the vehicle. And then they're driving to this crossroads, which is halfway to Camp Crystal Lake.
Right, he's not going all the way there, but he'll take her halfway.
And they get into this conversation, which partway through it, he then starts to be like, but your boss didn't tell you about the murders that happened, right? It's jinxed. And I'm like, so you believe what Ralph is talking about.
You just don't like his delivery. You don't like how he always sort of leans his head back and his stupid little hat flops everywhere.
It's so funny. He's like, why would he be pissed at Ralph? But then 10 minutes later be like, yeah, but he does have a point.
He kind of has a point, though. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is tragic about those murders.
Also, just to sort of add on to the whole crazy Ralph conversation, there's another point where a cop comes to the camp and, checks... He's looking for Crazy Ralph, and he comes to the camp, and he's like, have you guys seen Crazy Ralph? You know, oh, he's harmless, but he's, you know...
Yeah, but he's weird.
He starts drinking, and then his wife can't find him, and whatever.
Yeah.
And the whole time, because it turns out that Crazy Ralph was there, they hadn't seen him yet, but he was just hiding in their pantry for the opportune moment to spill some of his gospel. And
God has sent me...
to warn you.
And then he gets on his fucking bike and
fucking goes away. But I really was like, so what's the camp's plan for security? If Crazy Ralph just sort of got on the premises, Like,
yeah,
Crazy Ralph could be anywhere.
He could be anywhere. We think he left, but honestly, I don't know.
Maybe he's just hiding out in another pantry for later. Like, a bathroom stall.
He's waiting to expound more information on whoever is unfortunate enough to open the closet.
So they really need to get the perimeter secure is one of the main pieces of feedback I have if they are going to.
I can tell you why I think terrible things keep happening here. It's because you got no security. Literally anybody can just waltz in here.
Yeah. And they didn't even, like, call the police back. Remember that guy you were looking for?
Remember that freak?
He's pedaling northwest. Like,
he got on a bike. You'll probably catch him.
Yeah, like, they kind of just left it alone after that.
Yeah, they just watched him ride off into the woods. That cop, do want to stop on this guy. One of the funnier moments in the movie, because I've seen this movie like 4 or 5 times, but I don't think I'd noticed it until we just watched it this last time. So this cop shows up. He's asking about Crazy Ralph, but when he first pulls up, Ned's doing his offensive Native American routine there, and Ned goes like, "Oh shit," and the guy is like, "Are you high?" And then he throws out a bunch of like slang words.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, on the ganja, the green, blah blah blah." Like, he just
but it sounds like he's trying to be really cool.
Yes.
And he showed up. He's a motorcycle cop, and this is important for the thing that I said. So he eventually, they're like, "No, we haven't seen Crazy Ralph," and then the guy.
Also, we're not on drugs.
Yeah, and also we're not high. One of those two things is a lie. And I'll never tell. But the guy, like, he goes to leave and he's like, "Well, have no funny business on up here." And so he goes to leave and
he has to pull a U-turn.
He has to do a U-turn. But when he first goes to do it, it honest to God looks like he's gonna just drive into the lake. And then it looks like he remembers, like, "Oh shit, I can't go that way." So he pulls the lamest looking U-turn you could possibly imagine.
Just awkwardly puts his leg out and just like...
And then I think he puts his hazards on partway through this. And he starts to ride back out, but they cut the camera, and I swear to God, you see his leg come back out, and I think he ate shit. He'll probably never find evidence of this. I think that guy fucking wiped out. The actor had no...
out going 17 miles an hour.
He did a U-turn and tried to go back up the course, and he lost control of the fucking bike and just ate shit.
Immediately fell in the bush.
Just because you see the leg come out again, but he's going in a straight line, so there's not really a reason for it.
And he's real rocky on this thing. He's not...
You just see the leg shoot out, and then the camera cuts to the next scene, and I'm like, that guy totally fucking ate it.
The thing that's crazy to me is that kind of implies that, like, they just got, like, a guy. Like, they just got an extra.
He lied on the resume for sure.
They're like, "Oh, can you ride a motorcycle?" And he's like, "Can I? I'd like to find out."
This is one of those things where they were like way over budget. The studio execs are flying in and like, "We don't have time to reshoot this. It's gotta fucking get anyone." Some fucking cool guy is like, "This is gonna be my big break." The ganja, the green guy, whatever. And then he's like, "All right, I'm out of here."
So bad.
It's so fucking funny.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I love it.
Oh man. This movie is really unintentionally funny in a lot of areas.
It's so good.
Like, another part that I really love is so it's nighttime now, and they've kind of spread out. Marcy and Kevin Bacon are, smooshing booties.
Yeah.
Ned's dead.
Ned's dead.
Steve,
but we don't know that yet.
Is in town getting supplies.
Also, fuck Steve. The counselors show up and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna fuck off. You guys do the work. I'm gonna get real food in the place that works."
Yes. In his defense, they do just, like, get in the pool or the lake for several hours.
Oh, yeah.
They're not doing a lot of work. But, yeah, so they're all spread out now, and it's Bill, What's-Her-Face and Alice.
Yeah.
Hold on. One moment.
Bill What's-Her-Face. No, Bill What's-Her-Face and Alice is accurate.
I think Brenda. Her name's Brenda.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Bill, Brenda, and Alice. And they're like smoking weed and having some beers and, hanging
doing
out.
Cool teen stuff.
They're doing cool teen stuff. And then Brenda is like, oh, I have an idea. We should play Monopoly.
It comes on the tail end of fucking Bill just playing the guitar.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, nice.
That's nice. And then Brenda's just like, I know what we can do.
Let's play Monopoly.
Like, she's over it.
Yeah, she's like, Bill, fucking read the room, okay? And one of them goes, I hate Monopoly, which fucking valid.
Yeah, absolutely.
She goes, you haven't played it like I play it. I play strip Monopoly. And I have to say, as a former teen,
yeah,
if someone ever suggested playing strip Monopoly, I would have simply stood up and left the function. Like, the worst, most slow-paced game.
Yeah. Boardwalk is worth more than 3 socks, bro. Boardwalk is worth way more than 3 socks.
It's just,
those undies are coming off.
It's absolutely ridiculous. You would be butt naked within 45 minutes tops. Yeah. And then you just have to play the rest of the game where money doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, what are the rules here?
No, well, and it's exceptionally stupid because she's like, we play strip Monopoly where you use clothing to buy stuff. And I'm like, ooh, sexy. Not really.
Right. These 3 people who, like, aren't a thing at all and, like, don't want to be a thing.
Yeah, so it's just gonna be awkward.
Right.
But then, like, just before the scene cuts, fucking Bill is like looking through the box to get ready to set up, and it's a throwaway line, and I get that, but in the context of what we know about what they're about to do, he says, where are my 500s? You're not using money, dog.
You should be asking, where are my boots? Where's my scarf? Where's my coat?
Good thing I wore 3 pairs of tidy whities today. Right. I had a feeling I was playing strip Monopoly before the sunset.
You can really tell that a lot of the dialogue is not written. Like, they're just like, be teens hanging out.
Just be cool teens.
Just be cool teens. Just chit-chat.
Smoke the ganja or whatever.
Because a lot of the stuff is like that, where it's just complete throwaway nonsense that doesn't even make sense. I forget what Brenda says, but it's when they go turn on the emergency generator earlier in the movie. Mm-hmm. And she says something. It's supposed to be like a, well, how do you do kind of thing when he turns it on.
Oh, yeah.
But she says something completely nonsensical where she's just like, well, what do you happened?
Yeah.
And it's like, Brenda.
I think Brenda had a stroke.
We couldn't fucking take that one, roll it back.
No, the execs were walking onto the lot. They said, whatever we have to run with. That kid fucking wiped out earlier and all of our insurance is gone.
And the best part is that Brenda, like, did not need to be in that scene. No. She added nothing.
No. No.
There's so much stuff like that. It's truly a delight.
It's a treasure trove of just truly nonsensical bullshit, and I love the movie. Aside from those 2 scenes, I love the movie.
Yes.
And anything else is problematic that I might not be remembering right now, but it's all kind of a blur.
We don't condone it. Anything that's good, we like. Anything that's bad, we don't like.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah, I'm covered. You can't be mad at me.
Yeah. But I do want to talk a little bit about the end, because, of course, the big twist of the movie throughout the whole film, we're kind of just seeing the POV of the killer, and it's implied, but also, like, I think it's kind of playing on our expectations that the killer is a man, right? And then the big reveal at the end is we meet Mrs. Pamela Voorhees, who she comes to the camp when only Alice is left alive, and originally kind of seems like her savior, oh, what's going on? I can help you. Being fucking weird, by the way. Immediate red flags. Yeah. But then it quickly turns into her monologuing about how the camp counselors
clever dog.
Yes.
You sly dog.
The camp counselors weren't, they were fooling around, and they weren't watching her son Jason back in 57. Drowned. And he drowned. And then they tried to open the camp, so she killed those kids so that they would close it. And now she's doing it again because this place can't be open.
Yeah.
And she's, like, clearly super mentally ill. Like, this is when the, like, Kiki ma stuff kind of starts to make sense, because she starts speaking in, like, the little boy voice that's supposed to be Jason. It's like, kill them, mommy. Kill them all, mommy. Yeah. So, it's disturbing. But yeah, that's the big twist, is that it's the mom of the victim who's going around and killing everybody.
Yep.
Which also, that chick be buff, because she put a grown man on the back of a door.
Oh yeah, she's doing like when you get the reveal and then you think back to all of the stuff prior to the movie. One, it's a really cool reveal because there are multiple portions in the movie where she comes upon other characters, right, and those characters seemed really disarmed by seeing the killer. And again, we're POV, we're the killer in this scene, and it's weird before you get the reveal, because you're like, why would they be so disarmed?
Right. Like, Annie's being super friendly when she gets picked up by this car.
Yeah.
And at the end, when Steve makes his way back to the camp, you see this, like, moment of recognition where he goes,
he's like,
what are you doing
out here? Yeah.
You know, like, he seems friendly with the person. So it totally makes sense once you know, what the situation is. And also, a really fun play on expectations. Yeah. Because no one's expecting the teen slasher villain to be a middle-aged woman. Yeah. Who's on a mission to right the wrongs. Yeah. I did also want to say, one thing I thought was interesting was that the writer, Victor Miller, he only wrote the first movie, but he's on the record saying that he was really unhappy with the decision to make Jason into the villain going forward. And he also didn't really care for, like, the jump scare at the end. Yeah. And basically his view on it from his story that he was telling, he's quoted as saying, Jason was dead from the very beginning. He was a victim too, not a villain. And I think that that's clear in how this first movie is written, that it was never intended to have Jason take up the mantle and continue on. In fact, it doesn't even really make that much sense. No. But what a cool twist.
Yeah, no, I genuinely, we're spoiling it, but, like, for people who have never seen it, if you don't listen to this, whatever, I guess you'll never know what I'm saying here, but it is genuinely such a cool twist that when the reveal is, it's Pamela Voorhees. It's not, like, so much of it is building up to make you think, like, the ghost story of Jason Voorhees, this little boy that drowned, came back and is, like, killing people or whatever. And then you get this twist that, no, it's the mom. And it all makes sense. And then the very end of this movie is, like, where, like, you really have to stop thinking about it, because everything after just really doesn't make sense with the lore they kind of set up in the first movie. Right. And it's clear because that wasn't the intention for what they were doing. I mean, like, I think, like, many of these movies that got made, like Halloween, Friday the 13th, whatever, all of these movies got made. They were not made with the idea of, we're gonna make 8 sequels to this. Right. So we really need to nail down what we're doing from the start, which is why you end up having, Halloween 4, the Curse of Michael Myers or whatever the hell it is, and, like, they're constantly changing what Michael is supposed to be. Or in Friday the 13th, like, he starts out as this little boy who drowned, which is great character motivation for Pamela Voorhees. Sure. But then in the second movie, Jason Voorhees is the killer, and he's grown up, he's a fully grown adult, he's deformed, and he's been, like, living in the woods. Right. But it immediately doesn't gel with what they set up in the first movie, and it's because they never planned to make these sequels. Right. And then they were like,
so popular.
They were like, oh no, this is actually, like, super successful and popular, we have to make a sequel, how do we do that? Right. And then you just hand wave.
Yeah, you have to, because, I mean, what are you gonna do? Pamela Voorhees literally gets decapitated at the end.
Yeah, so you can't.
Bitch is dead. Yeah. So it doesn't really make sense for her to continue anyway. Yeah. But yeah, and I mean, this movie, it has the iconic jump scare at the end after Alice has faced off against Mrs. Voorhees. She gets in a canoe for some reason and floats out into the lake, and there's this, final scare as the police are coming in to save her, where a fucked up weird he looks burned, even though he's supposed to be a drowned victim. But presumably, little Jason pops up and, like, grabs her and pulls her under. Yeah. And she like, wakes up in the hospital, and she has this whole thing of, did you find the boy? The little boy, the one who pulled me into the lake. And the officer's like, we didn't find a boy, young ma'am. She's like,
Yeah.
so he's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving it open for, whatever. And that whole thing was pretty cheap, pretty unnecessary. It was very much a product of its time. Carrie had just come out, and Carrie had the final jump scare of the hand busting through the grave and all of that stuff. But it did help leave it open if they wanted to.
Oh, sure. It's just like yes, it helped leave it open, but it is also like completely nonsensical.
Nonsense. Yeah.
How it happens. Like either the police just saw her floating out there and nothing happened, or she did get pulled under the water, and maybe the police weren't there and see it, but then how did she not drown?
Right.
Because she just wakes up in the hospital or whatever. And then so Jason somehow lived underwater for like a weird period of time.
Yeah, as a little boy.
But didn't age, but now in the second one, now he's a full-grown adult. So like it truly is a thing where like you cannot think about it, because if you do, it's never gonna make sense.
Holds up to zero.
You basically watch the first one, great twist, then you go into the second one and be like, all right, now it's Jason time.
Yeah.
It's Jason o'clock.
Baby. Yep. And I will say the second one isn't fantastic, in my opinion.
Nah, it's fine. It's
fine, but it's not great.
No.
I think 3 is when it really hits its stride.
2, they basically do the same thing again. They say, hey, what if we do the camp counselors again? But the twist is, it is Jason.
Right. This time it is him.
It is him. Yeah. And then the third one, he gets the hockey mask, and they try to, they change up the formula a little bit. And then, we're not going to rehash everything. 4 gets into the Tommy Jarvis trilogy of movies, which is 4, 5, and 6. 5 is, I think, universally panned as, the worst one.
Yeah.
And then 6 is the best one.
The best one. And that's an objective fact.
It is. So, anyway, did you have a scariest moment for this one? It's kind of hard for me on this one, because going back, I don't necessarily view this as being particularly scary.
Yeah,
to me,
kind of the same for me. I don't find it to be especially scary.
For me, I would say the scariest moment is probably the Kevin Bacon scene. Not because jump scare. I mean, there is a little bit when he initially starts to be killed with the arrow. It is particularly bloody with the effect, because it's spurting out of his neck and everything.
Yeah,
and I think gross. If you're kind of blood or gore averse, that's kind of scary.
And it looks pretty convincing.
Yeah. Realistically, it's when they kill the snake, because it's truly not necessary and pretty horrifying.
That's horrifying in a real way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say maybe the scariest part of the film is I'm struggling.
I think that's the thing is I think it's an iconic horror movie. I think you and I, because we watch a lot of horror movies, are somewhat desensitized to it. And so, we have friends who don't watch horror movies, and they might watch this and be like, no, this is fucked up in certain ways. Mm-hmm. And that's totally valid. But I also think, in a world where it's just, so many horror movies.
Yeah, and I've seen this movie so many times.
Yeah, I just don't know that it's particularly that scary,
Yeah. I think if I had to pick something, one moment that I do find kind of scary is when Brenda gets killed. She goes down to the archery range.
Oh, that's a good scene.
And the thing that's scary about it, it's not so much a jump scare, but we know in hindsight that Mrs. Voorhees turns the lights on, so it's blasting in her eyes, so she can't see who is approaching her, and she can't see what's about to happen to her.
Yeah.
And we don't really spend a lot of time focused on her death, but when we see her body again later, she's riddled with arrows. And I personally think it's kind of just imagining being killed that way.
Yeah.
It sounds horrible.
No, I agree. Well, I think it's interesting in this movie because they do a significant number of the kills off screen, and then they're revealed later. And some of them are, I think, more gruesome or horrific, Bill being pinned against the door or whatever, and Brenda having all these arrows in her and everything are particularly gruesome. But then when we see Ned's is not particular. He has his throat slit. We saw a throat being slit for the first kill of the movie, so it's not novel in the style of kill that it is. And then it happened off screen, and it's not creative in any other sense. I'm not saying all the kills have to be creative. Where's my creativity in the thing? But it's just it's weird that he gets killed in such a basic way.
Yeah, there's not really any fanfare about it.
Yeah, but then
for him being the film favorite.
Yeah, everyone
character.
loves Ned.
Yeah,
Neddy.
Little Nedster.
Yeah.
So maybe that. Do you want to rate it?
Yeah, we can rate it. I rated this movie, I kind of went back and forth on things. I rated this probably pretty high in visuals. It's my highest thing. I gave it an 8.
I also gave it an 8.
I think it's because I really like 1980s practical effects.
Same.
And so, like, they win me over so hard.
I have to put some respect on Tom Savini's name.
Yeah, absolutely. The Vision, I rated it a little bit lower because it is... it's kind of like, not a ripoff, but it was like, they saw Halloween and were like, we should do that but bloodier.
Yeah.
And so, like, this is what I mean by, like, it's kind of derivative, but it also is, like, iconic and makes its own thing, so, like, whatever. It is really entertaining if you can just get past those 2 little bits in there.
Yeah, my highest score was also visuals. I have a lot of, like, 5s and 6s in mind because I was trying to be fair with acknowledging, like, how I might have felt the first time I saw the movie and thinking about it within its context, but also considering, like, how it's held up over time. So my total might be a little on the low side. It's a 6.2.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Mine's a little higher. I have a 6.8 in it.
So we gave it a 6.5 total. And
there are movies in this franchise that are going to be astronomically lower than that when we get to them. There are real snooze fests in here. Yeah. And ones I just actively don't like.
I will say that on the horniometer, I gave it an 80.
Yeah, it's pretty horny. It's kind of the point of some of it.
We got some titties in this movie.
I will say I don't think it could ever be higher than 80 because of the snake.
Yeah, that's a boner killer, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also 80 for 1980.
80 for 1980.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that. Anyway, so yeah, 6.5. I think it's a fine movie.
It's worth a watch.
If you've never seen it, you should watch it if you're into horror.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me that you would have never seen it.
If you're into horror and you haven't seen this, what's going on?
What are you doing?
Yeah. But also, to each their own. If you have any thoughts about Friday the 13th, or if you want to give us a suggestion for a movie you'd like to, see us talk about in the future, we would love those. You can connect with us on social media. It's at First Fright Pod on Instagram and X. You can also send us an email. It's firstfrightpod@gmail.com, or you can visit our Facebook page. It's called Love at First Fright. If you do have an opportunity wherever you're listening to leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up, do that. It helps us out and, spread the word.
Yeah, no, all of that stuff is incredibly helpful.
You got anything else for today?
I think that's it.
All
I'm
right.
just really excited we finally covered Friday the 13th.
I know, it's such a classic.
Because, yes, it is a classic, but it is the first step of the 6-step program to getting to
Friday the 13th Part 6.
Jason Lives. And I'm gonna be beside myself. It's like, that movie is up there with my love of, like, how much I love the Saw franchise. Mm-hmm. It's so good. People ask me about my favorite horror movie, and I say, I got, different areas of that. My favorite 1980s era one is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Because it is the one where they fully embrace how stupid this concept has to be. Camp. Yeah. It's equal parts just the goofiest shit you've ever seen and messed up. It's great.
It's delicious.
It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So stay tuned for that in approximately 3.5 years.
Yeah, we'll get there. It's coming. Just know.
Or maybe we'll skip some. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't want to do 5.
Maybe we watch like 4 and 5 at the same time and do them both
together.
Oh,
you know what we do? We do a special where we do we should have done that for this. We should have done 1, 2, and 3. And then we do 4, 5, and 6, and then we do 7, 8, and 9.
That would have been
because
good.
as I think are kind of the trilogies of them, and then X is its own thing. Yeah. Which would have been fine. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Maybe
too late now.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe when we get to part 4, we will do a 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. Thing, because
and we'll spend 90% of the time talking about 6.
It's gonna be mostly 6.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be like an extra long episode or something.
Special.
Anyway, that's pretty much all I got, I think.
All right.
As always, scare well, and see you next time.
Goodbye.
Good. Bye.
Good. Bye.
I will kill them, Jason.
Kill them, Mommy.
I will. My son, I love you.
Listen to the podcast, Mommy.
Did you eat your lunch, or did you give it up to the bullies again?
The bullies took it, Mommy.